Today on the Kelly Show, we will be interviewing George Washington. Hello, George. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me, Kelly.
So let's start out talking about your family. When and where were you born?
I was born on February 22nd, 1732, on my father's plantation, Pope's Creek, in Westmoreland County, Virginia.
Who were your parents?
My father's name was Augustine Washington, and my mother's name was Mary Ball.
Were you married and did you have any children?
Yes, I was married. My wife's name was Martha Dandridge Custis, and I had two stepchildren from her previous marriage, and their names were Martha and John.
So what happened to your children?
Martha died at 16 of epilepsy, and John also died from non-curable disease.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, but we don't have much time today, so we have to go on to the next question. Did any of your family support the British in the Revolutionary War?
No, we were actually all patriots.
Okay. So let's talk about your education. What type of education did you receive?
My brother Lawrence taught me surveying and trigonometry, and I was a self-trained scientist. And also, I learned any information I needed to know from reading books.
Were you an apprentice to some type of business?
I apprenticed a surveyor.
So let's move on to professions. What type of jobs did you do before you got involved in politics?
I was a farmer, surveyor, and I joined the Virginia militia.
Did your profession lend itself to fighting in the war?
Besides joining the militia, no.
Did you work at something that was affected by British taxes and acts?
Yes, whenever we surveyed the land, we would chart the land, and we would use paper to chart it, and of course paper is a printed good, and that's what the sandbags put taxes on.
So let's talk about politics. What brought you into politics, and what colony did you represent?
I represented the colony of Virginia, and I served on the Virginia House of Burgesses.
How did you feel about the British rule?
I didn't like it because I couldn't expand my land holdings, and also the taxes were too costly.
What role did you play in the Revolutionary War in creating the country?
In the Revolutionary War, I was first commander-in-chief, and in the creation of our country, I was the first elected president of the United States.
So is there any other interesting facts that you would like to know, or that you would like us to know about you?
Yes, my two favorite foods are ice cream and fish, and also I have a horse named Nelson, and my hobbies are also fishing and riding my horse, Nelson, and I'm going to give you some personal facts here.
Okay.
Alright, I'm 6'2", I wear a shoe size 13, and I weigh 200 pounds. Would you like to see my size 13 shoe?
Sure, why not?
Here it is.
That's a nice shoe.
Thank you. I made them myself.
That's a good skill.
Thank you, thank you.
So, how did you make a living before and after the country was started?
Before, like I said earlier, I was a farmer, surveyor, and I joined the Virginia militia.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us, George.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye. George Washington, George Washington, he was a great, great man.